contract.
Well, it's a night for goal kickers at Telstra Dome. Brisbane with a couple of guns up forward, less conscious of their front men than are Carlton. Carlton need to win this battle in the midfield to win the match, but the first victory goes Brisbane's way, and Black delivered it beautifully into half forward, but Brown dropped a sitter. However, he comes out of it with the footy.
Jared Wade, his opponent.
He kicks flat and quick in the Bradshaw direction. The numbers are against him. Jamison with him. And so there will be a throw-in as Brisbane head to the Coventry end of Telstra Dome.
Not enough resin on the hands. Start the game. They still wear resin, Vossi?
They sure do.
It's Carlton clear to the wing. Here's Eddie Betts. Good defensive work by McGrath. Russell loses it. Now pouncing is Gibbs. Wants to dish off. What was wrong with the kick, I thought? Well, he's forced a turnover here. Should have kicked Gibbs. Now Power right in the middle of the dome. Kicks to half forward where there's a loose man. This is Travis Johnston. He's probably within range, but he decides to pass. And again, the option wasn't great. Adcott attacks it. Good tackle on him by Brown. Now Hooper has a crack. It's fierce early as you'd expect. Black again. He's got the silky skills. He kicks it to the tip of the goal square. And it sneaks home for one behind.
Gee, some hard tackles early. And Vossi, you predicted this?
Yeah, I thought they'd get the match up. He did a fantastic job a couple of years ago on Judd. I think it restricted him to around about 15 possessions, so that doesn't happen too often.
Well, Judd has polled Brownlow votes in 5 of his last 8 games against Brisbane. Of course, all played in colours other than the navy blue and white.
The other key matchup is Murphy and Selwood.
Oh, gee, you've called these confidently, Vossi. Travis Johnston intercepts that confidently too, and with his kicking skill, he could be a chance from out there. Kick to a contest a moment ago, and Carlton were able to neutralise a dangerous-looking Brisbane attack. Lions have done all the attacking in the first couple of minutes. Johnston for the first goal of the night. Lovely line, and he's got the carry.
Just good to see a player have the confidence to be able to put that through. It's a good kick. Perfect conditions here at Telstra Dome. Wet and windy outside, but the ball won't get slippery tonight, and he knew he could get that 50-55 metres. Good start by Travis Johnson. Good start by Travis Johnson. There's Brendan Favola, Daniel Merritt, his opponent, and Fev's playing a little bit out from the goal square. Behind him is Matthew Cruiser, the young Carlton second ruckman and forward.
Ackland bangs it forward for Carlton. There's Russell. Out to Murphy, who kicks in the Cruiser direction. Pouncing is McGrath, so he's going to clear for the Lions. He gives it off to Paffel. Kicks towards Clark and finds him. That's a very strong mark taken by Mitch Clark, who came in for Leuenberger. Bit of a surprise to some. Adcock quickly inside 50. Waite got his way to the front, did it well, couldn't hang on to the mark. Bradshaw's in there, tackled by Jamison. Well, it was well worked by Waite.
Yeah, and Jared Waite, he's got the pressure on him because there's the mark of Mitch Clark. Last time they played against each other, Brown kicked 10 goals. Around about 9 of them were kicked against Jared Waite, and then Halpin stepped in and had 1 kicked against him.
Scotland the takeaway, coming off an outstanding game in the Blues' victory against the Eagles in Perth a couple of Friday nights ago. Now Notting for Brisbane. Oh, Sherman had it spent. Russell got enough of him. No play on as the call. Everyone stopped, anticipating a free. Russell hadn't taken the arms, and so I think a legitimate disposal was affected. Stevens now. Scotland once more. Big possession accumulated. Judd. Lovely left-hand pass. Russell. And Carlton setting something up now. Carazzo deliberates and then delivers for Favola with 2 against him. And with a better recovery. He's done okay. Murphy now their hope. Cruiser with him. Couple of #1 draft picks in the midst of it for the Blues. Throw in Carlton's right forward pocket.
Opportunity here for the Blues. Charman tapped it in the Sherman direction unsuccessfully. Bentic's in there. He's wrapped up by Merritt. Some fierce tackling early. There's the Carlton coaching box. Brett Ratton.
Nick Stevens playing his 200th game reported in today's papers that Brett Ratton had taught him more in the last 12 months than any coach had. That's a big rap.
There is Stevens. Betts weaves his way through traffic and got legs. So there'll be a free kick Carlton's way.
Well, Luke Power just had to be a little bit careful around those stoppages. He started next to Stevens and then he let him go. He had the body or standing next to him and then he took off, created that play, and then the free kick eventuated.
Carlton make their first interchange whilst Eddie goes back to line it up. Off comes Cruiser, on comes O'Halpin. Eddie's kicked 9-3 thus far this season, been pretty accurate.
Yep, converting at 75%. And it's home. Much improved player, Rob, isn't he?
Oh, he is, Quarters. I really admire the way that he's gone about his football. It's a tough position that he plays, that forward pocket specialist, but he's building his endurance. He crumbs the ball very well. He's a strong mark. For a little bloke, he's a strong overhead mark. And, well, 10 goals, 3. He's kicking accurately.
And he's rewarded with a spot on the bench.
Well, that's the way it goes nowadays.
Only 21 years old, Eddie Betts. He looks a lot older. 75% accuracy rate's just gone up, although he only snuck it home by about 1.5%.
And you'll see just on the bottom of your screen, Justin Sherman starting off the square. He's going to get Judd. And then Adcock slips out to the wing on Simpson.
Beautiful takeaway. Charman, Black, knotting Power, and Hooper can run in and kick Brisbane second. 1, 2, 3, 4, goal. The Fab Four would have liked that. They would have been happy with that bit of work, Vossi.
Well, this is how football's supposed to be played, isn't it? Have a look at the gather from Simon Black, if you don't mind. And then over to Power. It was almost scripted. And then it's just a great finish. Just watch the tap out. Great Rock Rover combination. Simon Black as clean as you like. Gee, has been fantastic around stoppages this year.
Just having a look at Brown and Bradshaw pulling right back to the goal square, it just meant that there was a lot of space between that position and centre half forward, and that's the area where Brisbane was able to run the ball through to kick that last goal. So they set that up very well.
Oh, and there it is again, as Riscatelli this time puts Brisbane inside 50, but only as far as Bauer. Umpire Ray Chamberlain out there tonight. Rob, you'd be pleased with that?
No comment.
Not many tricks will be missed, Rob.
And Ackland, playing his first game for the season after off-season shoulder surgery, takes the mark at half-back for Carlton. It's not a great welcome back to footies. He puts it down the throat of Notting, who in turn puts it down the throat of Bauer. Gives it off to Scotland, who goes back to the wing once again.
Inside 56-2, Brisbane dominating early. Wiggins in there hard, copped it high. Carlton's ball out of that. Judd lurking for the hand pass. Scotland chalking them up already. Now Bauer, third possession in the space of about 60 seconds.
Gee, Jamie Charman, the Brisbane ruckman, he's sitting back in front of Favola. It's pretty much obvious that they think Fev's the big threat.
Carazzo delivers, and Fisher was outpointed by Patfull. Murphy, though, roved it. Bentic, Judd, just too far out, couldn't wind up. Ackland can, but he doesn't quite have the kicking skill. He might have the bit of bouncing skill. Free kick to Brisbane. Road to take it. I fancy for a push.
Well, look, something to monitor to the moment. It's only early, but Chris Judd's starting to get his hands on it, which is a bit of a concern very early in the game.
Well, Patfull's run himself into trouble here, but he was good enough to get out of it, and Power's caught high. So a sloppy tackle from Jordan Russell. Bit of respite for the Lions as he kicks to centre half back. McGrath to Charman. Wasn't the prettiest of kicks I've ever seen. Gibbs Handball intercepted by Merritt, was caught high again by Russell. So 2 high tackles in the space of 30 seconds. Power off to Corrie. He kicks the half forward. Charman to Sherman. Brown wasn't looking, but he receives now. It was an excellent handball, and the big fella just goes bang. What about that?
As easy as you like.
Well, it was a brilliant handball. Brown wasn't looking, but he still had time to grab it and kick the goal.
Yeah, well, everyone gravitated to one player. Wait left his man. Probably did the right thing there. You got to lead, put pressure on. It was just a super handball for out Brown, and off one step. Kicks the goal.
Brisbane looking very dangerous. Goals to Johnston, Hooper and Brown. Judd having a spell for the Blues. Going to be a busy night for the Carlton defence.
Christie, after that goal, multiple interchanges.
Yeah, but they were prepared for it. They had their paperwork all filled out and all checked off. They were okay. I think it's more a problem if a player takes himself off the ground and they're not prepared for that, and that's when it becomes a problem.
Betts in the centre contest for Carlton. Cruiser roving it well. Almost did it enough to get to Stevens, but Adcock was in the way for Brisbane. Scotland in the way for Carlton. Blues needing a goal here. Been jumped by the Lions, who look very impressive. Murphy with the footy. The winner of this match will be in the 8 at the end of the round, because they will overtake St Kilda on percentage. Poor kick from Murphy. And on form, you'd imagine that is more likely to be Brisbane. Selwood's kick, not great for the Lions here, though. Jamieson up the ground. Gibbs forced to go backwards. Extraordinary, isn't it? 40 or so metres. That's dangerous, and it's going to blow up in Carlton's face. The goal unguarded. Brennan didn't want the shot, so he gives it off. And the goal was kicked by the silky skilled Johnston, his second.
Easy goals, Wolsey.
And that's his second goal from a Carlton mistake, is it not?
Well, they're hard enough to come by, and yeah, it's been a turnover. Jamieson was one who turned it over earlier, and then of course Waite now. But the goals are very easy. That's the concern for Carlton at the moment. There's little resistance. They're strolling in as they like. So they need to set up and provide a bit more competition than what they are currently.
Well, a great start by Johnson. Now, the lady we're looking at, she's a friend of mine. She lives on the Gold Coast. Her name's Beryl Parkinson, and her husband, Kevin, is a Carlton supporter. So one will go home happy.
Charman the tap. And it's a possession to Brisbane through Harding. So he pumps it back inside 50, Bradshaw. Good work there by Jamieson, just out-muscled him in the end. Ball's still alive. Gibbs. Got to be clean here. It is. His kick finds Brown. Stephen Brown, taking pick 36 in last year's national draft, kicks to half back. Keeping his feet was Corrie, and he'll win the football. To Patfull. Back to Corrie. Now Riscatelli. Chain of handballs. This is good teamwork, but in the end, Johnston's handball was smothered, but the Lions get it back. Numbers around the footy. Johnston again. Kicks in the Brown direction. Sloppy passage of play this. It's just outside Brisbane's attacking 50. Eventually comes out and Judd's got the footy. He'll make sure he does something with it.
He's the man to win contests for Carlton.
It's a good kick. The umpire's over. Ray Chamberlain.
Carlton fans wanting 50. It wasn't on. Wiggins taking a strong mark. Murphy and Favola.
As good a movement as you'd see from the Blues this year, I would say. Started on that defensive 50 by the skipper. And just speed and confidence and skill. And they all just kept running, the Carlton players. They all just kept moving downfield after that.
In his 149 games, he's kicked 418 goals. Alex Jesaulenko 6 ahead of him at number 3 on Carlton's all-time list. From one number 25 to another. Carlton need this. Lefebvre's goal kicking in his warm-up wasn't great, Rob. And he's not away to a good start.
No, we watched Fev in his warm-up. He had 6 shots that we watched, and he kicked 3 behinds and 3 out of bounds. So he certainly wasn't on in the preparation.
This is Patfull with the football. Manages to extricate himself. Now Black. And everything he does is usually 100% too. And that's a free kick to Brennan. He has that one ball in the one hand and he dishes off to Riscatelli. He pumps it long to Brown, who running back with the flight of the ball takes the chest mark, and he should kick a goal from here.
And Vossi, how many times have you seen that when you captain this man, his courage to run back with the flight?
Oh, I've seen it too many times to count, but he just had the space and too much time for the midfielders.
And well protected by Bradshaw too.
Well protected. Great setup.
So Brown for his second. 5 on the board to Brisbane already. It's quite spectacular when Jared Brennan gets the ball in the one hand, isn't it, and goes for a bit of a dash.
Well, what's the concern for me, for Carlton at the moment, is just the ease of which Brisbane are bringing it forward. It's just, they've got too many elite players to be just giving them that much time to bang it forward to Bradshaw and Brown. They will have a tough day if they let that happen all day.
At every centre bounce, you can see Jared Waite and Bryce Gibbs. Gibbs is dropping back at the centre bounces just to make it a 2-on-1.
So it's all Brisbane. The Lions lead by 4 goals. New territory for Carlton this year. They have led in every game they've played. They're in danger here of being blown away. Judd mown down and giving it up. Brennan knotting now. Here go the Lions again. It is one-way traffic. Bradshaw, numbers against him. Hadley, Gibbs, Scotland. And he has a call out wide from Ackland. That's a dangerous hand pass. Gibbs tried to knock it to a teammate. Johnston, though, stealing for Black from a long way. Might be behind the line. It is a behind.
Well, whether it's perceived pressure or actual, Brisbane are a very good pressuring side, and how Carlton cope with that throughout the game is going to determine their success in this game.
And they're not coping too well with it at the moment, but there's a good mark taken by Simpson, who's off and running, and that is a magnificent pass to Russell.
You just love the boldness of Simpson to play on after the mark, though. He took a very good mark and could have easily just stopped and propped. He decided to play on. We'll have a look at it here. Onto his favoured left side and bullet-like pass. That is the way that you want it if you're playing in that forward 50.
Well, according to my calculations, Jordan Russell's kicked 5 behinds for the year. 0-5.
Make it 6.
Stun Mullets in the Carlton box early. Brisbane by 4 goals.
I really like this Brisbane Lions jumper. It is, the colours are exactly the same as the old Fitzroy jumper.
Look at that kick.
It was from Drummond, beautifully delivered to Sherman, and away he goes. Nick Stevens is getting to him, but Sherman with confidence and pace and delivery, superb to power. And the Lions are dangerous again. That is a beautiful ball, but well done, Waite. Thumping spoil. Ackland, hand pass not much better than the last one, and Carazzo couldn't take it. And Brisbane dangerous. A free kick to Adcock. Now it's coming back. No advantage.
Kane Ackland's handball is putting his team under pressure, and you've just got to be better than that at this level.
There's the high contact.
Okay, clear free kick, his kick.
Bit stiff not to get the benefit of the advantage there, because play was continuous, no question about that. And at times it is hard to understand the interpretation of the advantage rule, or the application of it. Jed Adcock. Starts rightish, but it holds its line. The Lions lead by 5 goals. They're blitzing Carlton.
Well, the boys are getting smashed. They're absolutely getting smashed at the moment. Just the ball movement, getting in first for the ball, They're running better. They're putting pressure on. And it's just got too much heat on the Blues at the moment.
Michael, we're looking at Mitch Clark. He's replaced Leuenberger in the team, came from Western Australia, only played around the 10-11 games. Tell us a bit about this young fella.
Well, he's been injured. Certainly, as a capable footballer, he just needs to get games in him, get the continuity.
That's a good tackle by Stevens on Riscatelli, and he's rewarded. Kicks in the O'Halpin direction, getting back as nodding. Rowe, good tackle O'Halpin, but Rowe's got support. Clark kicks to half forward. Riscatelli in the direction of Black. Good hands, as always, from Black. Back to Riscatelli. Oh, the bounce. It's an unlucky one for Carlton. Brown should goal. It is raining goals for Brisbane. Brown's already got 3. Well, this is getting embarrassing already. There's still 7 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, you cannot blame Jared Waite for this. Jared Waite's in front, attacks the footy, bounces over his head. That's just rotten luck as far as Jared Waite's concerned. 3 goals kicked against him. You can't deny that. And you have to start to think, do we make a move? I wouldn't at this stage.
He's an intimidating sight.
Yeah, and a cruel bounce to Jared Waite, but he just has to hang in there. I don't know what the other options would be. They've dropped O'Halpin back in front of Waite and Brown at the moment.
Carlton's strength on the stats is uncontested football. Brisbane's the opposite, and they're intimidating the Blues. Riscatelli sprays this wide. Just scores a behind.
So just going back to that Jared Waite thing, Wolsey, as we see the tap out, that's just too easy. Although he had to play at that ball, he was still too far off Brown as his starting point. You've got to at least try and beat Brownie in a contest. He's too good if you give him space. He reads it too well. Give yourself a chance.
O'Halpin marks in the back pocket. Pops one over the top to Carazzo, who had 42 possessions in his last outing for Carlton. And that didn't achieve much as O'Halpin gets it back inside defensive 50. Now he switches to Scotland, and this is better. Stevens has found some space. He can mark and go. Nick Stevens kicks to Simpson.
Well, Fev's got 3 on 1 against him at the moment, so they can't put it to Fev.
Ackland was free, and he takes the mark, and he's got to go back and kick the goal.
And the reason Ackland was free was because Charman was back in front of Favola along with Drummond. So Brisbane very Favola conscious, and he's got to take advantage of this now by kicking it.
Kane Ackland, first game for the season. He's been around for a while. Still only 26. Been a real journeyman. Boy, did Carlton need this. He'll be kicking from about 49 metres out. Oh, doesn't even make the distance. Well, it's a disappointing kick. And Brisbane get it back.
Holding advantage.
So advantage paid. It's still a Brisbane ball as they work it out of defence. Sherman. Bit of luck there rather than good management. Goes inboard to Harding, to Black. Good smother by Murphy, and Carlton get it back.
And now they have to control it. And Simpson's been good. Gives to Fisher. And he delivers well to Wiggins. Been lively early.
And again, they're all back. Rowe, Patfull, just pushing back on Fev.
Wiggins will kick from just outside 50, so it's a long testing shot. And it's near side. No, it's not. It sneaks home, and the Blues have their second. Well done by Simon Wiggins. But the gap is still 31 points. Battling his way towards 100 games over many seasons at Carlton.
Well, there's Jamie Charman in picture, and one of my very favourite players, and this is why. As a ruckman, he's aggressive, he's skillful, he's intimidating, and he has just got the ball rolling Brisbane's way in this first quarter. He's an absolute beauty. And I would, he's up against young Cruiser. Cruiser won't take a backward step, but it's a boy up against a man here.
And Charman won comfortably. Again gets it to Riscatelli, to Adcock, to Black. Beautiful combination in the middle again for Brisbane. Brown's got to beat two and can't.
They have got a problem though, Carlton in the middle. They're doing as they please, Brisbane. Need to start roving off Brisbane's hand because they're just getting too much clean ball.
Oh, Brennan, brilliant with the one hand again. Why use two?
Jared Waite's been moved off Brown. He's a spare man in defence now, Waite, and O'Halpin's got the job on Brown.
And this is Bauer, so a bit over 3.5 minutes left. Carlton not wanting to concede any more goals. Brisbane overwhelming the Blues early. Waite enjoying the bit of freedom back there. Scotland and Simpson, and now Cruiser. Already with a cult following and one of those low rumbles from the Carlton crowd. Here's Wiggins again. Carazzo mown down by Harding and gone. Well, that's why Brisbane Lions are the best tackling team in the AFL this year, averaging 63 effective tackles a game. Have a look at this tackle. You wrapped up for good.
You know what was good about that, Wolsey? His body was against the opposition's body.
Well, they're a physical contest team, and Carlton more of an uncontested football team. There's no doubt which is prevailing here. Johnston to Bradshaw, but Jamison might have got a hand in there, and Waite can mop it up. Carlton's defence starting to look a little more composed. Scotland once more in double figures already, although that's an inconsequential one. It was a terrific smother by Jamie Charman, who just let Scotland know that he had a victory, and Scotland's not terribly pleased about it all.
Inside 50s, 9 to 19 in favour of the Lions.
And Judd finally gets it out, but not for long as he's wrapped up by Power.
Mark play on percentage, that's a significant stat. That Brisbane Lions 81% of the time they're playing on after a mark. Carlton about half of that. Geelong's the #1 play on after a mark team in the competition. Just means the ball gets on very quickly into your forward line, gives your forwards every opportunity.
Oh, another dangerous kick back into the corridor. Carazzo got pushed in the back.
Push him.
A little bit of respite here for the Blues. Kicks out wide to Russell.
Yeah, again, 2-on-1 against Favola. They've got to look at other options.
Satanta, just got boot to ball. It was a poor kick, though. Nothing much going right for Carlton this first quarter. As Rowe took the mark, gave it to Merritt. Now Brennan. And he kicks to Clark.
I reckon Mitch Clark's got bigger, Vossi, from when I first saw him. Now, you know, he's more of a centre-half forward, but he's around 198 centimetres. He's ruckman size now.
There's the flamboyant Brennan blazing away. Murphy just taking Riscatelli under it and getting his arm in doing so. Yes, and umpire Ray was onto it. So Riscatelli, who is a member. No, he's not a member of the goal-kicking club tonight. He had a shot that went out on the full. From long range here, setting it up. It's a lovely kick. It's a beauty. And the Lions have their 8th. Now he's in the club.
It's a good call by the umpire in the end, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, sure was. Look, Carlton have some concerns. They've got to be able to generate a score somehow. And when they've got a loose man in defence, I just don't think that helps them a whole lot.
Well, the man doing the centre bounce ruck work, Jamie Charman, just dominating. Hit outs at 12-3 in favour of Brisbane, and this man here has had 9 of the 12.
Give that one to Cruiser.
Yeah, they've got a win there. That's good.
As Murphy gets the clearance. So they're attacking 50. Rowe. Dragged out of the pack by McGrath, who did it well in the end. Black again. They're just forcing it forward, Brisbane. Black again. Beautiful handball to Hooper. Looking for, but not finding Clark. He got crunched by a couple of Blues. One of them was Waite. So he kicks to Cruiser. And Clark gets up a little bit gingerly, but he looks okay. As Murphy's got it on centre wing. Not a lot on offer again. So forced to just blaze away to a 3-on-1. There's just lines everywhere. And they get it back. Notting pops it over the top, but the Lions are right out of time here as Sherman's run down. But Brisbane can be very, very happy with their 30 minutes work there. They are smashing the Blues to the tune of 37 points. 8-3 plays 2-2. Jonathan Brown, the major goal scorer, with 3.
That player. And Fev has to get himself going too. I reckon Lee Matthews might work on the theory that if Fev doesn't start well, he rarely finishes well, and he might just drop his bundle, so make life hard for him early.
Charman weighted down and won the contest. Eventually Simpson, though, sends Carlton forward, and McGrath outpoints Betts. Has Johnston waiting for it. Eddie chased hard, pushed him in the back. No question.
Push in the back.
Umpire Farmer onto it. Travis Johnston after 2 first-quarter goals. Professional free kick, perhaps, from Eddie Betts. Holds things up for the moment. Not such a bad thing for the Blues. I think those highlights, as we showed coming out of the quarter-time break, really summed up the first quarter perfectly. It's a case of boys on a man's mission here, from Carlton's point of view. Brisbane have just been too powerful. Johnston, bit aimless there, and Waite using his leap. Even then, the hand pass was restricted. A hand from Hooper getting onto the wrist or the ball, and now Murphy fumbling. Carlton nervous. And they have the numbers around this. They shouldn't really have any problems. Grigg to Gibbs, to Scotland, back to Gibbs. Now O'Halpin, and now the turnover.
Just blind play by O'Halpin. He does that too often.
For once, Brisbane give it back. And that's a free kick to Hadley.
Just under real pressure, O'Halpin has no composure. And maybe we're asking a lot of him because he didn't grow up with the game, but he has to improve. He just turns it over too often.
Good smother by Notting. Charman might have hurt himself in that collision a moment ago.
His old mate Hads, they were roommates.
As Brisbane have got it on centre wing. Hooper off to McDonald, who kicks in the Bradshaw direction and getting in the hole. It was Bauer to cut that off.
This is one young Carlton player who is improving as each game goes by, Paul Bauer. He's tall, he's athletic, he can play on any sized opponent.
It's not a great kick to Murphy against the tall Clark, but Carlton won out on that occasion. Oh, great tackle by Clark on Hadley. Forced the spillage. Sherman's in there now wrapping it up. What a great tackle that was.
Well, the stats tell us they're the #1 tackling team, and as Vossi said,
that could have been
that could have been a bit dangerous.
Season ending. Well, it could have been a knee for Charman. He was a bit lucky there. He tried to avoid contact. So Notting for Brisbane. Well, it's just all too easy. As he kicks in the pocket to Bradshaw. And one of the positives for Carlton is the performance of Jamison so far. I know he's made a couple of blues, but he's done well on Bradshaw.
I reckon he's a fantastic defender. His ability to be able to stay on the lead is just super.
Daniel Bradshaw yet to have a possession.
Don't know whether that's good or bad news for Carlton. At the throw-in, Ackland, front position. Sherman, though, getting the better of Judd there. Johnston, can he do it on the left? There's a smother in there from Bauer. Carlton have it covered. And Waite has the line as his friend. He got it over just as well for him. He could have gone for holding the ball, and in that position it would have been embarrassing.
Well, and that sort of sums Carlton up a little bit. It's their intensity. I mean, just that lapse in concentration, just to be able to, you know, take your time with it. Too slow.
Murphy out wide to Stevens. Kicks to the lead of Betts. Got there on the half volley. And somehow he got it back. Well played, Eddie Betts. Kicks in the direction of Fisher.
Brisbane persisting with the extra players back in front of Brendan Favola. Gee, that's quick.
So it's in the Blues attacking 50. But Brisbane just applying tremendous pressure in close. They are murdering Carlton in there, and again they make the takeaway. McGrath, Power, Black, Patfull had to wait for it, but it came to him eventually. And he shows good pace and confidence. The kick not so great. And again, Jared Waite. How many's he taken now? He's taken a lot of marks. That's number 6.
Admittedly, Tim, he's got a pretty easy gig now. He's not on Jonathan Brown. He's the spare man in defence, and it's coming in a lot.
To Wiggins, to Russell. And now Simpson. Used the body pretty well on Corrie. And he has Fisher calling for it. He decides just to bide his time and give it to Gibbs as Carlton look to construct something. Favola giving a half-hearted sort of a lead. It doesn't come his way. This could be a little dangerous, but Murphy had the call just to wait.
Fev has to keep leading. He showed his frustration when Gibbs didn't kick it to him. He's just got to keep leading.
Grigg to Russell, loading from 45 and ramming it home for the first of the second term. And boosting his goal shooting percentage just a little. Bit of persistence and patience there from the Blues, and eventually the reward coming.
And I reckon that's where Fev has to start. He has to start up where Drummond is and have the space over the back. At the moment, the way Carlton is setting up, though, is they have players behind him, so he doesn't have space in front of him or behind him, which is just, you know, limiting his movement and where he can go.
Quick kick out of the pack by Murphy. Betts worked his way to the front. Couldn't quite trap it. McDonald's there. Handball's back into the middle. Diving on top of it was Harding. And he's going to be penalised for doing so.
At the other end of the ground, Jonathan Brown and O'Halpin are literally locking horns. They are pressing their foreheads against each other.
Literally.
Yeah, they are.
The antelopes do that, don't they? Murphy over the top to Carazzo, stripped to the footy. Brisbane get it back. Well, here we go. There's a one-on-one here between O'Halpin and Brown if Brisbane can get it in quickly. Now Brown and O'Halpin. Bradshaw spots up Brown. This will be good. The Antelopes go to battle.
That's a good effort.
But they both miss out on this as the spoils are taken by Waits. And he clears for Carlton. He finds Stevens.
A terrific effort by O'Halpin. And maybe the locking of horns had fired him up. Judd into the 50 for the Blues. Wiggins kept the contest alive for Betts to Favola.
Good ball. It's a great call, Tim, because Wiggins did just block his opponent out to enable his teammate to come through and take the ball. And this last passage of play with the O'Halpin spoil, clearance by Waite, is one of the best passages that Carlton's had.
The other reason why that was a great passage, because Eddie Betts looked up and there were Brisbane players back. Fev double led and just put it out in front of him. Fantastic.
O'Halpin getting mixed messages there. One from the umpire, one from a runner. Favola hasn't touched it for 22 minutes and he still hasn't kicked a goal tonight. They need better from him when he gets his opportunities.
Here we go. Here's Brown and O'Halpin. Mad Irishman against a mad Australian.
It might be an Irish kiss.
Ball yells the Carlton crowd. Was that deliberate? No, umpire says toss it in.
That was well done.
So 50 out from Carlton's goal.
And this is where they have to compete, the Blues. This is the area where they're getting beaten, in the midfield.
Cruiser against Charman. Here's Stevens.
Good tackle.
Murphy. Good tackle on him by Selwood.
Well played, both of you. Thank you, runner.
Well, Brisbane coach Lee Matthews be very satisfied at the moment. A 31-point buffer. Charman again in the ruck. Now Stevens. He's over the ball. Umpire wants to get this out. I reckon he'll penalise him here.
Too long. You dragged it in. You must get rid of it. You must get rid of it.
It's a bit hard to get rid of it when your back is being laid upon, which is what happened to him there. Now there's a 50, so it's double jeopardy for the Blues. There's a bit of weight on the back there.
It wasn't a whole lot of attempt, though, I've got to say.
McGrath giving it to Adcock. Just getting it onto his boot in time, but doing it well. And this time there's only one antelope where the ball dropped, and his name's Brown.
Right on it. Jonathan, that's the mark. Where he is. He's right on it. Right on it.
Looked like the ball had moved on to me.
So Brown with 3 first-quarter goals. First opportunity in the second. Loves playing against Carlton and just seems to find the big opening every time when he does. His 4th.
Goals 3 in his last 4 games now against Carlton. Jonathan Brown, and there's still 2.5 quarters to go.
Chris Judd in for his 11th centre bounce, yet to have a clearance.
Here he is. Got it to Cruiser, who shows a lot of dash for a big man. Cruiser might go all the way. Matthew Cruiser not quite touched on the line for the marking attempt by Favola, but he had to go for it. That was a promising sign. Great athleticism from Matthew Cruiser.
Kick. That has gone 70 metres.
Yeah, quick transition by the Lions.
Okay, 2 minutes.
And this is Corrie. Goals harder to come by in this second term. Just 1 goal apiece in a little under a half of the quarter. Sherman backwards to Selwood and further back now to Drummond. Lovely kick of the ball. Stepped over the mark. So called on. Rowe sold it beautifully to get around Fisher. And the delivery was perfect. Nothing O'Halpin could do there.
Set that up pretty well, Brisbane. They brought it from the wing into the corridor and out to the opposite flank. Finished off with the Rowe bullet-like pass.
So Brown for his 5th. To be well on schedule for another double-figure score against the Blues. His first miss, 4 goals, 1. The margin 37 points the Lions' way. They're giving Carlton a mauling.
So wait to do the kicking in. Stevens has a break. Nick Stevens has 8 possessions next to his name so far tonight. Judd flew, almost took the mark. As it ripped out of his arms by Power. Now fed out by Notting. Harding can't break clear. Another bounce.
Interesting to see Judd in an aerial contest, wasn't it?
Yeah, which makes you think why. Look at this. This is interesting. Short kicks. Brisbane very, very much kicking the ball long.
Spectacular stuff from Clark. Travis Johnston, who kicked 2 goals in the opening quarter. Carazzo will get there first. Oh, he's run down by Hooper. Just managed to shrug the tackle. Russell. Well, Corrie should have tackled instead of trying to bump. And Carlton have got the football. Here's Simpson looking for Favola. Mark, free kick, whatever you want. Fev's got another shot at goal.
Well, the key contest there was in the middle of the ground.
He should have tackled instead of bumped.
Yeah, it was, and that was a spectacular climb, no doubt about that from Clark. In the middle of the ground, Cruiser was able to maintain possession. There it is. That's where the tackle should have been laid. Cruiser was good enough to be able to keep possession and fire off the handball, was set up this play.
So Brendan Favola's due for one. He's got 2 behind so far tonight. Oh, well, your observation, gentlemen, before the game was absolutely spot on. What you play as you train, that's what they say, isn't it?
Well, the other part of the observation we made before the game was that he was remarkably casual about it. He wasn't concentrating on his shooting for goal, and it wasn't the sort of warm-up that a professional sportsman should be putting himself through, as we saw it.
Yeah, spot on, Tim. It was just a flippant muck around before the game, and we saw 6 kicks, 3 behinds, 3 out of bounds, and that doesn't do any good to anyone. And it's flowed through to the game.
The challenge for a player like Favola when he's in a rich vein of form is to maintain it, and not just to let it dissipate. Here go the Lions. Sherman, good delivery. Bradshaw just couldn't get the judgment right there and was lucky not to give away a free kick.
He was kicked 25-11 at the MCG this year, Fev, and 6-6 everywhere else. You don't usually see him miss easy shots like that, and he's a bit perplexed too.
There's Riscatelli, hemmed in by the Carlton defence, but got out of there pretty easily. Bauer making the spoil against the oncoming Brown. Waite again uses the line.
He's enjoying the freedom of this role, Jared Waite.
But should that be his role, though, Rod? Shouldn't he have more responsibility?
In the big picture, it's disappointing that he wasn't able to have some sort of control over Jonathan Brown. That's the more important job, is to play on a champion and have some control. He wasn't able to do that. So he's picking up easy kicks because he hasn't got an opponent.
Riscatelli to Brennan.
49 metres, play on.
Then he plays on. Oh. Handballs to Power. Oh, too easy. Power just had plenty of room to move, and he pops it up towards Bradshaw. No free kick forthcoming. It's a point to Luke Power.
I guess you can say Waite's deficiencies have been exposed, but if they do want him to be a key defender, he has to be able to rise above those deficiencies. Otherwise, when he faces the really big jobs, they've got to look for an alternative. And this man is one of them, Michael Jamieson. Start of the year on the rookie list. He's become the nominated rookie for the Blues, and he is doing very, very well holding down a key post.
Back 2 metres.
Wiggins.
Back another 2.
Carlton trailing by 38 points. Just a goal apiece in this second quarter. Things have ground down after a free-scoring opening turn. 10 goals kicked, 8 of them by the Lions. Just 1 each in this quarter. O'Halpin having gone back onto Brown. A challenge he'll relish. Simpson now for Carlton. Blues forced wide. Bauer again. Now Ackland.
Brisbane's dropped off having that extra player in front of Fev.
Favola having the run up there. Saw it was a good effort, and he's done enough.
Mark, go through. Right?
Set himself forward, Tim. I watched him closely, and it's interesting. Lee Matthews has taken away that extra player in front of him, and have a look, eyes on it, intent, and the mark paid. He certainly had the biggest purchase of that footy.
Line ball. He held it long enough in slow motion.
A fight off the ball, boys. There's a good old dust-up going on.
Any more free kicks now? Let it all go. Get on with the game.
Now Favola has to get straight here. Still goalless. That looks better. Now he's found the line. In his 150th, he has his first. You could debate whether he had it long enough in real time. Umpire Chamberlain paid it, and after 3 misses, Favola nailing that.
So Favola's on the scoreboard. And Brisbane lead by 32, so Carlton have actually won this second quarter so far.
Yeah, they've been able to stem the flow, and one guy that they've been able to stem has been Simon Black. He's only had 2 possessions in this quarter. It's been pretty important. They were taking it away too cleanly, and there's a pretty interesting graphic. Favola on the inside target 4 times. Brown and Bradshaw have had a fair look at it, and here's another one.
McGrath to Brown, who plays on. Powers on his wrong side, so he's got a double back, sold the dummy beautifully, now chips into the pocket and finds Hooper.
If I see Luke Power would be one of the best in the Brisbane team at setting up marks inside the forward 50. He's just got great judgment, awareness, a little sidestep. We see it here. Cuts back, wrong foots, and buys time to set up a neat pass.
Recognises the strength of his kick. He's got a little loop, so he just puts it out in front of them.
8 goals, 6 this season to Ryan Hooper. And that's a lovely kick for goal. Brisbane get its 10th. Two goals to Ryan Hooper. There was a Simon Black disposal, helped set up that goal.
When the ball's coming forward that fluently, doesn't matter if you put 10 players back there.
Hooper kicked a bag of 4 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he has a couple tonight. Simon Black having a spell. Brisbane's midfield dominating this game. It's where Carlton had to win it, and they haven't been in the hunt. And it's Brisbane again. Power just about legged there. Johnston missing the target and exposing the Lions, but he it is who gets back and mops up. McDonald having a very good season, coming of age this year. What a delivery that was to Notting.
50-metre pass.
3 metres. Keep coming. That's it.
Interesting to see on that table a minute or so ago that Bradshaw has been the target 9 times for Brisbane. It says a lot for the job Jamison's done, keeping him to 1 disposal. Oh, Carlton making a mess of that. Corrie also making a mess of it. 3 turnovers, and eventually McDonald, Power and Corrie breaking away for the Lions, getting excited, going for broke. Brown couldn't quite hang on. Perhaps the layup might have been the better option from that range.
Well, a fumble by Stevens.
Terrible handball from Ackland.
Ackland, 3 times he's given it up to the opposition in this first half. He is playing for his career. Is Kane Ackland.
He's got a long contract there, hasn't he, Rob?
Too long.
So Brisbane have got it at half forward. Riscatelli, who coughed it up. Scotland. Well, won by Gibbs over to Bentic. He'll have another go at it. Scrubby old kick to half forward. Now Brown. Inside 50 to Favola. Good hand.
Gee, that's a strong mark.
Great stuff from Favola.
They hit him with everything from behind, from in front. And I reckon he's back on, Tim. I reckon he was off for 40 minutes. I reckon he might be back on. He switched back on. Let's have a look at it.
Give Brown credit there. It was a beautifully placed kick.
So Brendan Favola, as Tim said earlier tonight, he needs 6 goals this evening to become the equal 3rd goal kicker in Carlton's history, equal with the great, the legend, Alex Jezelenko. This for his 2nd. This to get Carlton back into the game.
Who's
1 goal 4 to Fev.
Who's the #1 goal kicker at Carlton?
It is Harry. No, it's not. It's Stephen Kernahan. He's
Correct. Who's number 2?
Harry Soapy Valance.
Correct.
Number 2. You'd ask me that.
When I was a boy, I can remember Harry Soapy Valance being in the rooms at Carlton, and it was a great thrill to meet him.
Kernahan 7.38, Valance 7.22, and Jesselenko is third on that list at the moment.
Soapy used to say he'd eat a football boiled, stewed or fried, and he'd suck the lace. Here goes Judd. Hadley back to Judd, who's had a subdued night. That's a clever kick with the left to Gibbs. Now Scotland. Better move from the Blues for Vola again, but impossible from there. Fisher almost did the impossible. That's another minor score. The margin 37.
Fisher just the third disposal. He's I like him as a player, but needs to get himself going.
Charman takes the mark at half-back. Brisbane by 37, which was the margin at quarter time. So at least the Blues have stemmed the flow. And it's a free kick game against the Vola from the back. So the Lions away. Drummond, a thumping kick is an absolute beauty, but just getting back to fill that hole was Scotland, and did it nicely in the end. Scotland coming up for disposal. 18. There's O'Halpin. Back to Scotland for number 19. As he switches to the city side of the dome. And Simpson to Bentic. Easily knocked out of the way by McGrath. And that's a free kick to Adcock. No, none forthcoming, but Lions get it back. Clever tap by Power to McGrath. He's got options everywhere. One of them is Johnston. And he kicks inside 50 to Black, who is within range. Johnston's having a good night. He's racked up 15 disposals, 2 goals.
Were you surprised Brisbane Lions took Travis Johnson, Vossi?
I was a bit, as you see Luke Power. I was a little bit, which probably signifies a little bit that they think that their window is somewhat near for another premiership. You would have thought when you recruit a 27, 28-year-old.
2 goals this season to Simon Black. It's coming back and it's a goal. So Brisbane's leads out to 43, and Simon Black, who this season is averaging 28 disposals, is up to 16 in this match. There's also kicked 1 goal too.
Yeah, if you want to have a little bit of a side punt on the Brownlow, I wouldn't mind having a little bit of a side wager on that. Simon Black winning another Brownlow. He has been in magnificent touch this year.
What are his greatest qualities, Vossi?
He's a competitor. He wants to get better all the time. He's always looking for something to do better.
Has he proposed yet?
No, he hasn't. Hello, Catherine.
Judd put under pressure from Johnston was good. Harding dispossessed. Sherman mopping up. Black bobbing and weaving, and still pretty sweet on his feet after all these years. Clark. Clever, he knew Johnston was there. Grigg to Judd. Judd becoming more involved for Carlton, just starting to shake the shackles a little. And this is Murphy in the last minute of the opening half, which has been dominated by the Lions on their way into the 8. After 8 rounds, you would think. Here's Johnston to Clark, to Corrie, who had a go from this range a while ago. This time he lays it up. 2 of them there, Brown and Bradshaw. Jamison wrapped up in a steel tackle. Wait though, O'Halpin. Scotland. Still time enough for either team with coherent movement to trouble the scorer. Bentic to Cruiser. Done 2 or 3 good things. That wasn't one of them. He's lucky.
Oh, how wasn't that?
The umpire must have felt he got a little bit of boot onto it. They're very fortunate. Murphy from a long way. What will that do? Oh, well done, Merritt. A big hand-like fist. Big, strong man.
Deliberate torpedo from Murphy.
Yeah, he pulled the kick.
He pulled the kick? Is that what he did?
Yeah, he pulled the kick. It's a pretty smart kick in the end. Just didn't quite get there. set it up for Fev.
Half-time at the Dome, and Brisbane have extended their lead. They led by 37 at quarter time, and now it's out to 42. 11-8 plays, 4-8.
Well, look, Carlton were able to just neutralise it a little bit. They played a loose man in defence with Jared Waite. Drummond was up the other. So they're able to just stabilise there a little bit. Didn't make much ground. But I think in terms of coming into the second half, they've just set themselves up just to stop the rot a little bit.
Brisbane in front by 42.
Jared Waite in at the centre bounce, Steve. I haven't seen that ever before, and Carazzo's been moved forward. So a couple of moves have been made by Brett Ratton.
Judd, who gave the troops a rev up at half-time. Favola! What a start for Carlton. Favola's got two. Well, we saw Judd just before they went out back under the ground give his troops a bit of a rev up. Brendan Favola, who's been in a funny sort of mood tonight. Different mood, but when you look at it, he's had 6 shots at goal. He's got 2 goals, 4.
Yeah, well, he's had his shots. What I liked about that, though, out of the middle, the midfield, were able to win the ball. They got it forward, gave him every chance to be able to get better position on his opponent and kick that goal. This is where they need to improve. They're getting smashed in the midfield. They need to get their hands on the ball first and spread from there to give their forwards a chance.
Fevolenko, you beauty.
Well, a couple of changes, and I like it by Brett Ratton. You can see Jared Waite, right of picture. He's in at the centre bounce. They're letting Cruiser start in the ruck. I like that. He's the future. And they've moved Carazzo, who is very much a ball winner, into the half-forward area.
Clark up front with Brown and Bradshaw. Brisbane loading up. Squirting the ball around here. Carlton at least taking them backwards. Black giving to Drummond.
Wrapped him up, come on.
Oh, and there's a 50. Simpson giving it away. It's a bad one.
Well, now they have to push back. They have to push back hard.
Just here. You weren't in the contest. You weren't in the mark. You can't touch it.
They can kick it from here.
He is a lovely left footer. He just pulled that, but he's got it. And it's gone through. I don't reckon he made the contact he was after, but it's a goal.
Drummond might struggle from that distance. Now that's a free kick.
You think it was 50?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a touch of the helicopter about it, but it had plenty of carry.
Well, Josh Drummond has been free for most of the night, but he is an absolutely magnificent kick. That is his strength. And from outside 50, no worries for Josh Drummond.
At this centre bounce, Brisbane has Brown and Bradshaw back in the goal square. Plenty of space in front of them.
Play on, accident, play on.
Waite's in there. Adcock caught one high. He's okay. Judd fed it out. Cruiser trying to force it forward. Judd has another go. Tough in the clinches as McDonald clears it out. The race is on here. Gibbs against Hooper. And Carlton win out Grigg. Got it over to Scotland, who's now had 21 disposals. And Carazzo takes the mark at half back.
Thank you.
Well, Cruiser's free of Charman because Charman's dropped further back in front of Favola.
There is Cruiser. Ball yells the Carlton faithful. Umpire says nope.
You see Charman at the back of picture coming in to do the ruck work.
There's Bradshaw playing quite high up, Vossi, now, outside 50.
Just getting moving, getting him up and about. They do change it from time to time.
Clark's dropped back in the goal square with Brown.
Quick kick out of the pack by Johnston.
Great.
And another stoppage here on centre wing.
So Bradshaw out well outside 50, and Clark is playing the tandem role for the moment with Jonathan Brown inside the 50-metre arc. A goal each early in the second half. Brisbane preserving its 7-goal lead. Hard for Russell to get that out with another arm over the ball.
Thanks, Jordan.
So Brisbane blowing Carlton open with an 8-2 opening quarter. And Carlton will try to play catch-up, but not really getting close. Notting well tackled there. Forced backwards, but Johnston, who's had a good night, feeds well to Adcock.
It's a free kick off the ball, picked up by rampaging Ray Chamberlain, and it will go to Jonathan Brown, who's been held by O'Halpin.
Oh, and a beautiful exhibition from
You
Ray.
need to listen. If you wrap two arms around him and you're not going at the footy, it's a free kick.
Well, he doesn't miss a trick, Ray, does he? And you can hear the response from the crowd. I've just seen it on the big screen.
So Brown already with 4. And he shouldn't miss this. From 40, straight in front, he drives it home for his 5th.
To be a forward today.
I think I know what he said.
I could lip read too. O'Halpin's not happy. The Antelopes clash again, and I don't think Brett Ratton's happy. Hope you can't lip read at home.
And you know what I love about that? He's willing to take the contest. He is annoyed that he got that free kick, but that takes courage to do that.
I don't think
to do
anyone
that
scares
all
him.
game. To do that all game. That, in many ways, that's what Jared Waite has to learn. The courage to be able to take the contest to somebody for the whole game.
Simpson for the Blues. Over to Scotland. Draws the play and gives it to Stevens. Can he finish? Sidestep, kick, miss.
Well, it could be an enthralling contest at the other end of the ground, with O'Halpin really serving it up to Jonathan Brown.
Well, I'm not sure I want to spark him up. It just makes him play better. But
Rampaging Ray's
good.
watching. Rampaging Ray's in his element. He's 8 metres away, just looking at the two. He'll have it under control. Don't worry about that.
Satanta taking out his frustration with Ray on Jonathan. McDonald receiving from Luke Power. And the bounce favouring Johnston, and Bradshaw. Rare possession for Bradshaw. Sets up Notting, who drills it in. And Satanta's frustration just grows.
Well, nothing Satanta can do about that.
No, you need to be Superman.
Just get the fast break and the perfect pass. He only needs to get 1 metre break, and he'll always get that because he's the one who makes the decision when to accelerate.
Brown has 5, and we were talking about Favola climbing towards number 3 on the Carlton all-time list. Brown has climbed a rung to number 4 on Brisbane's list. And Vossi, we better put you to the test on that shortly. This for number 6. He's offline this time. He has 5 goals too. Do you know who 1, 2 and 3 are? Number 4 is Roger Merritt.
Oh, Lynch should have to be 1.
Lynch is number 1 with 460.
Starting to struggle.
Bradshaw is number 2 at 393. And there's an interesting one at number 3.
Is it a Craig McRae or a Jason Ackermanis?
It's Jason Ackermanis.
Here's Judd for Carlton. Oh, well done. Beautiful handball to Scott. Oh, big hip and shoulder off the ball. Betts fixed up Riscatelli. That was a great old-fashioned hip and shoulder. And Riscatelli's still down. Brisbane win the ball back. Sherman scrubs one to half forward. McDonald. That was a real bone rattler, that one. Sherman was clever. To Corrie, who runs to 50. He's going to have a ping himself. It's coming back. It's a magnificent snap from Anthony Corrie. There's Michael Riscatelli has got the wind knocked out of his sails. There's the hip and shoulder. Right down the middle. And he's up at last, Riscatelli, so he's coming off for a bit of a rest. Bang. And in the meantime, Corrie finished beautifully.
Yeah, Sherman knock on. Sherman knew if he took possession, he'd be wrapped up, so he just fisted the ball to advantage. He's a happy man.
The world looking a little clearer for Michael Riscatelli. Carlton kicked the first goal of the half, but Brisbane have responded with 3 on the trot. And the lead is 9 goals. Brisbane's ball out of the middle. Advantage called. Harding and Clark can line them up. Well, it's a horrendous night for the Blues.
Well, it is, and the run of the Brisbane midfield is constant, is quick, and more importantly, their delivery is so good. But you have Power and Black in there, and they just set up so much attack.
Clearance is 5-2 for the quarter. Brisbane dominating in the centre. Clark, poor kick. Reprieve for the Blues. The margin 55. The clearance figures for the night at 21-13, almost 2-1.
And the inside 50s, 39-21, but it's the quality of ball that is coming in.
Grigg marks the kick in. As he looks the field, there's not a lot on offer. Kicks in the weight direction. So weighted half back to Simpson. Judd provides the run, and on the left boot kicks towards Stevens. Just pushed out of the contest too easily, but in the end it was an ambitious bounce from McDonald, and he's been penalised. Advantage paid for Vola. No mark. Wiggins.
Eddie Betts sensational with his run down from behind to win the ball for the Blues. We'll see it here.
Got to say, I reckon that's a push in the back. People will argue, but I think it always has been and always should be a push in the back. Lions manoeuvring the footy around the wing. Hooper for Bradshaw to get to the drop, and not quite collected low down. Wait, no, Halpin needing clean hands here. Murphy and Judd have kept Judd under a tight rein tonight. McGrath just getting a hand in there and then collecting. Power, Brennan. Brisbane just vastly superior in the clinches. Sherman, and he has Hooper loose. The movement comes from the key forwards, and he finds Johnston, who is a good target because he's such a good kick.
I've got a feeling the Carlton runner went out to Chris Judd to bring him off. And often we're seeing midfielders make their own calls there. He'd been working very hard.
Travis Johnston 2 in the opening quarter. This from comfortable range, but it's a poor kick. He pushed at it, and it's another miss.
Chris Judd has a breather. He's a direct opponent tonight. Sherman also comes off. Riscatelli's recovered from that knock. He's back on. Nick Stevens in game 200. Looks for Wiggins. Lost a handle on it.
In the tackle, in the tackle. No, in the tackle, knocked it out.
Leading possession getter for Carlton, 23 Scotland, 18 Judd. For Brisbane, 19 each to Black and Johnston and 18 to Power. Important game, this one, with both teams locked at 3 wins, 4 losses in season 2008. So Gibbs recovered nicely after losing it. Betts, good hands again to Murphy. Now here's an opportunity. He can go all the way, Murphy. Couple of steadying bounces and he drives it home. Well played, Mark Murphy.
And well played, Eddie Betts.
So still a long way to go in this game. Brisbane by 50.
Well, you say Brisbane by 50 quarters. Brisbane have beaten Carlton their last 7 games by an average of 8 goals a game. So I guess it's running to script.
Murphy, a sight for sore Carlton eyes there, gliding across the turf, bouncing the ball and finishing well. His finishing has not always been up to the mark this year, but he's improving. Ackland, an uncontested tap, favoured by the bounce. Stevens, Scotland, Brown, quiet tonight. Ackland again, needs to hit a target or two, and he does. Scotland, a moving target. Fisher with Patfull. Patfull controls him. A good shepherd. Fisher and Favola both taken out of the contest. And Brisbane come away effortlessly. Riscatelli back from a heavy knock a while ago. Now Black. Here comes Bradshaw. Jamison has not given him room to spit, as an old boxing commentator used to say. Wait. But he miscued the kick and Notting chopped it off.
Away we go.
Notting's kick finds Rowe. He also playing his first game for the season tonight. Receives once more, and helicopters it into inside 50. Not much of a kick.
Been a few.
So throw in 50 out from Brisbane's goal. Brown's got 5. Here's Black, roving it beautifully as always. He might go all the way himself. Tight angle, doesn't bother Simon Black. Great goal. That's his second. Again, all too easy for Brisbane. But this man makes it look easy.
Yeah, but I'm not sure who's on him, but there's no one near him. It's just far too easy. Boundary throw in, half forward flank for Brisbane. You would just expect that there would be touch, that they would have some sort of control over their direct opponents, the Blues, and he just cuts through it as if he's going through fairy floss. Vossi, let's see who's on Simon Black.
Hadley.
Ball watchers, gets Paul caught ball watching. Simon Black, I'll tell you what. Have a bit of a think at Brownlow. You have to.
He's been telling us what for many years now. Halpin and Brown almost did enough. Big Satanta just prizes it away with his boot to Simpson. Ackland. Stevens, 200th game, not producing anything memorable so far. Scotland and Favola's on the lead, but Power with courage is in the hole, and he doesn't flinch.
Ooh,
and the Fed's not happy.
No, Riscatelli.
Holding the ball.
Carlton free kick meanwhile. A holding the ball decision against Black, and Carazzo takes it. Judd there, but with nowhere to go. In the story of the night for the Blues.
There's currently about 4 players on him.
Bauer to Murphy. And I guess Brisbane can afford to have 3 or 4 against him, because Carlton really do lack forward targets. Stevens sees that the goal is unguarded and doesn't quite get the carry.
And there was one of them.
And Brendan Favola's body language, Rob, is starting to deteriorate.
Yeah. Look, it's a tough night for him. Well done, Eddie Betts. If they all tried as hard as Eddie, they wouldn't be 50 points behind.
Lions concede a rush behind. So Power straight up the corridor. But that's an interesting kick to 2 Blues. One of them was Sean Grigg. Just chips out wide to Murphy. He could have so easily have been a Lion.
Bring it back. Jared, you can't run through the mark and shepherd him off. Bring it back. Thank you. Bring it back.
It's interesting what the defence is doing at Brisbane. They are pushing back in numbers. And they're sort of saying, well, you guys wander up around the midfield and get your kicks. We'll wait for you to get into Favola, because they know we have to get in there eventually. And we'll turn it over and we'll run it out.
Well, going into the game, Vossi, Favola 31 goals, Betts 9. It makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? Control Favola, control Carlton.
Well, Favola's there. Almost Fisher. Ball still alive, is it? No, it's a point. Bit of miracle work from Eddie Betts, but it was a point.
What a spirit he is.
He is terrific, isn't he? Jockey size. Plays his heart out.
Favola could well learn from him at times like this. This is a challenge for the Fev. The chips are down. Bad night for the Blues. He is being put under tremendous pressure. And right now he has to keep his mind on the job and make the best of a bad lot. Johnston has his kick smothered twice, and Betts is in the midst of it again. Brisbane should still prevail. Rowe, though, gang tackled. Carlton raising its effort. Favola just couldn't get it to anybody.
Yeah, well done, Carlton. That was sensational. 2 smothers off the boot. Russell. Fisher.
It was probably the example of Betts that has produced that sort of thing.
Selwood's kick finds Sherman. He kicks in the Bradshaw direction. That's could be a shoulder injury there. I think it could be Jamison, who looks like he hurt himself in the contest. In the meantime, it's a point going Lions' way, and Jamison pulled up very sore after that contest. He's had a wonderful night. Gets the thumbs up from the trainer, so it could be okay. In the meantime, Carlton get it at half forward.
Bentic to jab, just time to get balanced and to kick a goal. He finished it beautifully off one step.
Well, let's hope the last 3 or 4 minutes has been about Carlton finding that spirit, led by Eddie Betts. And there's that injury. We just see. So hopefully he's okay for Carlton's sake. But they've just found a little bit of spirit, a little bit of life.
Chris Judd goes to a half-forward flank. Carazzo goes in at the centre bounce, and I just would love to see Carlton play with real boldness now. Eddie Betts has set them alight in the last few minutes. Take risks, move the ball quickly. If you're going to get beaten, might as well get beaten by 12 goals as 8. So give yourself a chance to win by really having a dip at it. Put a bit of pressure on Brisbane. Even take away that spare man in defence. I think give yourself a chance to win by getting your players up around the action in the play, rather than have blokes sitting back getting easy kicks. Lee Matthews would be happy with that.
Corey has the football for Brisbane, and Brown got rid of his opponent from right on 50. He has a pot shot at the goal, and Brown has got 6. Thumping kick. And dare I say it again, it was all too easy for Brisbane.
Yeah, and that's been the way it's been most of the night, is just those easy goals. And you saw off screen, I think it might have been Wade who fell over, which found Brown on his own, and he's good enough to kick the goal. But it's been probably the story of the night mostly for Brisbane. It's just their fluency, their ability to be able to move it with no pressure whatsoever, which has just given their forwards every opportunity. And every time Carlton have gone in to kick a goal, Brisbane have come down the other end and done it easy.
Fev's playing out near centre half forward. Chris Judd's behind him, and there's an extra Brisbane player between the two.
Brown 6-1, Favola 2-4. A little bit of a rugby as Jared Brennan barges his way forward. On nights like this, Brown looks next to invincible.
Yes, and there's the Carlton forward setup.
It's like another ball up out of this. The umpire hoping it might squeeze out, but it won't. Blues trail by 54 points. Brisbane have doubled them. Jonathan Brown doing so much of the damage. Halpin trying hard, but the odds stacked against the Carlton defender. Here's Power. Murphy tackled high by Brown. Carlton's ball.
That's it, let him go. That's the mark, no closer, mate.
And Murphy takes it wide for Grigg. Russell in some space, but couldn't advance. Wiggins taking the mark. Done a few good things tonight. Scotland from a long way out, maybe just too far. And it's never a really good kick dropping almost on the scoreline because it's giving the defenders a 100-to-1 on chance of making sure that no one marks some goals.
Josh Drummond to do the kicking in, goes the short option and finds Clark. Have you seen his game so far tonight, Michael? Mitch Clark.
I think it's been quite good. He's moved from ruck, he's helped out Charman, and he's also pushed forward, so he's certainly done his role.
Luke Powers had a big third quarter. Little soccer off the ground is by Bauer, effective as he finds his captain in Judd. Gibbs to Scotland, to Brown, who stood up in the tackle and did well in the end to feed it out to a teammate. Grigg over to Stevens. Favola's on the lead. And he's got the free kick.
Carlton fans happy with that.
Walk away and let him give it to Brendan. Well, Simon, he's not meant to drag him on the shoulder.
Gee, it didn't look like there was much in that, did there?
Let's have a look.
That's just play on. That's what a defender's allowed to do, I would have thought. Very harsh.
Yeah, not much in it.
Yeah, look there, and strict interpretation, it's there.
As they used to say, the benefits of playing in front.
Yes.
Interesting grip, isn't it? Left hand high on the ball, right hand's in the right spot, low, directing the ball onto the boot.
Favola likes it. He's got his third. And for a guy, he's had an indifferent night, and he hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but he's had 7 shots at goal.
He has.
He's kicked 3 or 4. That's a good effort.
Well, especially the way Brisbane have played, to get that many shots on goal, it's still a pretty good effort. I mean, he missed a couple of pretty easy ones early on.
Brendan Favola has had 7 shots at goal tonight, and in the 5th quarter tonight after the match, John Ralph from the Herald Sun has big news on the future of Brendan Favola, so stay tuned after the match.
What do you think that might be, Quarters? He said he wouldn't sign or agree to a 1-year contract with the Blues. That's what he said through the week.
Charman takes it away wide. Brown, nice collect. That was well done. 1-2 with Brennan. Now Corrie. Brisbane playing with great confidence, and Brown, rejuvenated player tonight. Rowe. No, that wasn't good. O'Halpin having a dip, exposing himself if Brisbane can win it away quickly. Drummond, and they do win it away now. Does Brown have an opponent? McGrath goes long, and Bradshaw is there. So are a couple of Carlton defenders. Bradshaw just 1 kick for the night and hasn't troubled the scorers.
And this is Carazzo with the football. It's 14 disposals tonight. 42 he had last outing against West Coast. Interesting kick from Fisher. Umpire let that go. Power, clever tap to Notting. He got it to Johnston. Good spoil by Bentic. And there's been a lot of stoppages in this 3rd quarter. It's still Brisbane with a very comfortable lead, 48 points. Brown has 6 next to his name. Charman the tap. So down it goes again. So we can get a clearance this time. Ackland attacks it without success. Bentic again in close. Got it to Grigg. Now Stevens. And his kick finds Simpson on centre wing.
Carlton looking to run the ball, work it around, crack Brisbane open. Judd to Simpson. Murphy calling for it. And moving with it, Favola is up in the goal square. Murphy, though, cuts the distance. It's marked inside. Well done by Merritt. Good one-on-one victory for him that time against Favola. Drummond. Power. Drummond again. Left-sided play. Oh, Favola should have got him there. Yeah. Drummond bounced off.
He was a man on a mission there, wasn't he?
He was like a pinball machine. He bounced off 4 of them.
Murphy cleverly to Hadley. Betts calling for it, but Hadley goes all the way himself. Misses by a big margin. It was a low percentage shot.
Let's have a look at Fev. I think he's surprised that the opponent turned back into him.
I think he was fatigued too. He just went on about 3 runs.
Free kick going Brisbane's way. It's going to be taken by Adcock, and
you can't do that to Ray.
no, I don't know if he's giving it against Fisher or it was against a crowd, Rob.
Talk to the hand, he says. Look, Fisher has been rendered useless by Joel Patfull. He has played a super game. Fisher has had no influence on the game whatsoever.
As Adcock goes to the true centre-half forward position and finds McDonald. So 50 against Fisher. I guess that was for being demonstrative, Tim. Is that what they call it?
Verbally demonstrative, perhaps.
Simpson is unceremoniously slung over the boundary line.
Ray likes one-sided conversations.
So the Lions by 47 as we near three-quarter time. Simpson through the pack to Ackland. To Fisher there, a rare stat for him tonight. But it's a turnover. Corrie through traffic, did it well. He's got options everywhere. One of them's Bradshaw. And he has had a very quiet night, Daniel Bradshaw, but he's just within range, I'd suggest. No, he's going to dish off. Wasn't the best of options, but he might get another chance here. Bradshaw, no, he won't. As Corrie's handball missed the target. And Gibbs will be happy to see it over the line.
Yeah, I like Bryce Gibbs. I think he's coming along. He's had 18 disposals tonight, 8 handball receives. I think he's just growing with every outing that he has with Carlton. Will be a 10-year player.
An animated Brett Ratton tonight. Blues' worst game of the season so far.
That's holding the ball.
That's a good call, Ray.
Advantage.
He's come into the game, Razor.
Hadley pumping it forward. Carlton having a good patch here, just not managing to finish their efforts. Favola will have 2 to beat.
Oh, what a jump.
Rowe, Favola still a chance. Told him the ball anyway. A Carlton free kick.
Look at Fev. He's running through, but it'll come back.
It will come back.
Russell's... He's improved as a player. Just have a look at this tackle. Sorry, Wiggins. Russell and Wiggins both been working hard to lock the ball in. Wiggins, he's been at Carlton a long while and just hasn't been able to consolidate. But he does things like that that make you think he can be a player.
For his second goal of the night, he kicks it, and the Blues just edge a little closer. In fact, winning the quarter by a point with a few seconds left. Wiggins, playing his 91st game, had kicked 21 goals before tonight. Only one of them this season. Well, he's trebled his season's tally with a couple in this game. His wife, of course, Ludi, champion diver, missed the Olympic team recently, crushingly disappointed out of that. Simon is the sporting hope for the winter.
Jonathan Brown having a break with 6 goals, 2 next to his name. Still Brisbane by a very healthy 41. Murphy puts it back inside 50. And that'll be it. So the Blues won the quarter by 1 point as there's a bit of a melee developing.
Where's Ray?
No, he's just standing back spectating in the middle of the ground. So No damage done there. Three-quarter time at the Dome in this round 8 match. Brisbane lead Carlton by 41. Favola's got 3 goals.
Around him for 90% of the game, so it hasn't been easy for him.
So the final term underway. Some better signs from the Blues late in that third quarter. Can they maintain it? Well, Brisbane have been winning these contests all night. Notting slips it wide. Corrie there to receive it.
Play on, play on.
Just edged off the mark, the umpire says. Looked tough, but he had time, and so has McGrath. And now he doesn't really fancy what's up ahead. And, oh, he's done that well. Great pace and composure and a pretty good placement. And Johnston from point-blank range.
Well, Johnston's opponent is Nick Stevens. Johnson started in the forward pocket at that centre bounce. Nick Stevens was in the back pocket, didn't want to be there, and gave too much latitude. And with this bold run, Stevens has paid the price.
That was beautifully done by McGrath, and it sets up Johnston's third goal.
Well, playing out of defence is Ash, and we know he's got pace, and he's certainly used it on this occasion. And when we talk about creating something from nothing, this is what we're talking about. The ability to be able to have the speed to carry the ball and then hit it to the spot. Just a great centre up. Everyone knows where it's going. Johnson on the end of it.
I think Lee Matthews would be very happy with this situation. He'd be happy to have Stevens dragged out of the action, and I think Johnson, as you can see, is going right back near the goal umpire to get Stevens away from it. That will frustrate Nick Stevens. He wants to be up here at the centre bounces.
Brisbane by 47. Russell's at the bottom of all that.
Right.
Jed Cox done that a couple of times tonight. Played for the free kick. He's got to play for the whistle.
Back, please, guys.
This will be Brisbane's 8th win in a row against Carlton. And I want to talk to Michael Voss about the last time that the Blues actually beat the Lions. It was a famous day back in 2001. This is Scotland, who's had plenty of it tonight. That's number 29 to Hadley, who's been very quiet against his old team. Grigg. So I was there that day as a radio commentator, Michael. It was at Optus Oval in 2001, and you were absolutely disgraceful that day. Not you personally. The Brisbane Lions were towed up by 74 points, and you were shocking.
Yeah, we were bad, and that was a great football lesson we had, and launched an attack on the premiership for us.
You went on to win 16 of the next 17.
Yeah, a great lesson. We pulled their side apart, looked at what capabilities they had. Lee Matthews put their stars on one side and some of the guys who do the real work on the other side, and mentioned that we didn't have any of those guys who were prepared to do the hard work, and we needed to find them, and we did.
Lee had a fair bit of hair then. Stephen Quartermain was a young radio commentator. It was a long time ago that Carlton last beat Brisbane. Judd out in front of Favola. Man on the mark will be about on the paint. In fact, just slightly inside it, and that's within range for the Fev, who has started to find the range with his kicking after an indifferent start tonight.
Just thinking, did he give you a big rev at the end of the game, Michael? Did he lash you?
He wasn't kind. One of the rare moments when Lee really gave those fearful looks. He didn't have to say much, Lee Matthews. It was the look that did the damage.
Those dark eyes. Here's Favola for number 4. That looks all right off the boot. That is a lovely kick. He has 4-4 for the night, and he's done well. It didn't look as though it was going to be the Shags night, but he's applied himself pretty well.
Well, for Fev at the moment, I think we need to barrack for the man to kick a couple more. Join the great man.
So Brisbane lead by 41, and
have a look at that. Just the dominance of this man, Jamie Charman. Twice as many hit-outs as anyone else.
Black, run down. Should be a free kick. Advantage paid. It is to Carlton. To half-forward Hadley. Tried to get it out. Hovering over the top of him is McDonald, and the umpire will bounce. Leads to the question with Favola kicking 4 tonight. He's up to 35. It's round 8 as we see a bit of Lee Matthews manoeuvring. We could have 3 or 4 blokes at the end of the year nearing the 100, couldn't we?
Sure could. Isn't that exciting?
Fossey, have you ever sat in the box with Lee?
I have.
What's he like?
That vision that you saw there, he rides the bumps. He really lives the moment. And when there's a clash coming up, Lee normally shifts in his chair as he did then.
We might just get another shot of Lee and the chap sitting next to him.
Quick kick by Hadley is an up and under. And coming away with it is McGrath, who's found a bit of dash in this last quarter. Set up a great goal to Johnson. Look at him go right down the middle. Now gets rid of the handball. Over to Corrie in the end. Corrie from 45. Just off hands for a point.
And that man on right of screen next to Lee is Barry Lowe. Barry Lowe's the board man. Barry was the board man with the Brisbane Bears when I was there, so he's seen the tough times and the good times. He's been there at least 20 years and a wonderful clubman.
When you say the board, that's the magnetic board, Rob, as opposed to the board of directors.
The magnetic board.
Yes.
Also responsible for handing out the chocolates too, so the boys love him.
So you didn't let his tyres down. Oh, Gibbs the big leap. It's offline. It's a behind to the Blues. Ball quickly in play, and Brisbane now can counter-attack. Travis Johnston, a 3-goal night. Black, good all night, and Brennan.
Brennan goes it down the line to Bradshaw. That's a good mark, a solid mark from Bradshaw as Brown leads back into the goal square. Oh, Bradshaw's kick's a shocker.
Yeah, that's when Brown is dangerous, running back with the flight, got his opponent under the footy.
It was all set up for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, virtually no one can stop him in that situation.
And Bradshaw's kick was poor, so lucky let off there for the Blues. As Scotland with number 30 gives it off to Grigg. He wants to give it back. He does so eventually. Short kick finds Simpson. The Blues host the Fremantle Dockers next Saturday at Telstra Dome. And Brisbane take on St Kilda at the Gabba on Sunday. We'll have a look at more detail of the next few matches coming up for these two teams later on in this quarter. There's Patfull, who's had a great night. Kicks to the wing, and there's a strong mark taken in front by Grigg. Not much on Patfull, Michael, but he gets the job done every week. He must be only in the old skull, what, 6-1 at best?
Yeah, and look, he just does the job every week. Undersized every single week, but ever reliant.
Well, poor kick from Bauer, and Brennan was able to short circuit the Carlton move.
Yeah, look at this.
They are. Brennan miscuing it a bit, but got it to the target quickly enough for Johnston, although the pressure came from Bauer. Johnston, second effort was good to Selwood. Brown, low down, couldn't collect. Halpin, Murphy, Brown of Carlton now. Looping it for Fisher, back to Brown. Bauer again. Carazzo. Carlton doing this under pressure, and eventually the chink in the armour came, and Merritt beat Favola. Goes for Brennan, and those hands capturing the ball. He's got to come back though, because it was a mark. And so he can't run on. It's the disadvantage of taking a mark. Oh, that's a poor kick from Harding. Murphy for the Blues to Stevens. Game just degenerating a little here. Fisher to Gibbs. Wiggins to Judd. Just getting rid of Rowan. A good shepherd laid by Stevens. Now it's Russell.
He pops one over the top to Brown. And he goes in the pocket to Favola. And Clark just got the fist in at the last minute. 4 goals for to Brendan Favola.
Good play by a ruckman.
It's very agile, Clark.
Ackland over the top, but to no one in particular. Idea was right, but there was plenty of Brisbane numbers there to hold it up. So bounce about 45 out from the Blues goal. Once again, it's Ackland and Clark. Third man in was Gibbs. Tapped it to Scotland. Here's Riscatelli. Lost it. Hadley's in there.
It's about building the bodies, and Carlton are a young team, we know that, and building the bodies and just being able to hold your tackles. It's a critical phase of the football, of being able to play good football now, and they've just fallen off a few, but they'll get that when they start building the bodies necessary to play AFL.
Simpson to Gibbs, threw it on the boot, but it's out on the full.
I reckon when Carlton broke the hold, Brisbane have held over them, Vossi, like that day in 2001. It might be a landmark day for their club, because they're taking on a team that just seems to have their number in physical terms. Here go the Blues again. They haven't given this one up. Stevens' kick just not quite with the depth, and Merritt having a good quarter here against Favola, and he gets the benefit of 50.
Just listen to me, though. You're nowhere near the ball. You're a metre or two away, and you just smacked him in the back of the head.
Not a good night for Brad Fisher. Only 8 disposals, 2 marks. Here go the Lions. Rowe. And Brown has got it.
Trademark mark, isn't it? Running back into space, courageous, eyes on the ball.
It's where Don advises space. If you ever watch his leading patterns, he leads up and then he leads back, almost like a wind-up. Space is behind him. Just makes him very dangerous, because he can come up and meet the ball, but when it gets kicked over your head, you're in a contested situation inside forward 50. Makes you a very dangerous player.
3 Brownlow votes in each of his last 3 games against Carlton, and he well might have extended the sequence tonight. This for goal number 7. It's a miss. He has 6 goals, 3 for the evening, but he has been the dominant figure out there.
Christy Malthouse.
Thanks, Stephen. Michael Jamieson has been off the ground since that heavy collision that we saw in the 3rd quarter. It looks like he has suffered a bit of a shoulder injury and that his night is over. So the Blues down to 3 men on the bench for this final term.
It's a shame. He was having a great night. He did in the marking contest. Didn't seem to be a lot in it, but here it is. Just popped out, and when he was trying to spoil, it was a very innocuous incident, wasn't it?
He's got both those shoulder straps, so he obviously has some shoulder issues.
Here's Brown, just put the head down, trying to split open the pack. Grigg just got boot to ball and time out wide. Bauer over the top to Brown. Good work by Corrie. And now Brown's in trouble. He's trying, said the umpire. Corrie goes for a ride. And eventually it comes out as Waite finds Scotland. Now to Bauer. To Gibbs. Scotland again. Number 34 for him. Now Waite lopes after it. Takes on a couple of lines. Ball's still alive. Fisher squeezes the kick out to Carazzo. To Brown. In fact, that was Bentic. Kicks in the middle and finds Stevens. He's run down wonderfully well by Luke Power, who was going a million miles an hour. And now Hooper kicks to Bradshaw. Can't take the mark. Can he force it to Brown? With strength, Bradshaw got the football. It's still alive. Harding. Now Brown. He's got the sit here. No, he couldn't do it. Brown fed it out to O'Halpin and suckers it through for a rush behind.
He fought so hard, then O'Halpin. He took the risk and left Brown to go out and be in a contest away from goal.
He's provided the contest, hasn't he, to Turner?
He
has
does.
really provided the contest.
And Look, he's been at Carlton for quite a few years now. They've played him in the back line as a forward, as a ruckman. I think his best chance is as a defender.
I agree, and if you look at the way that Jonathan Brown started, he kicked 3 in the first quarter. He's kicked 3 since. Look, we know the game's not finished, of course, as we're looking at Jed Adcock there, but I mean, he's just been able to put that body pressure on Brown, which has just forced him to win it in a contest.
Well, I think you summed it up earlier on, Vossi, when you said he's a competitor. He doesn't like to be beaten. It's a good attitude to have.
Favola's free kick.
No.
Well, he's going to end up having close to 10 shots for goal, Fev. That's fantastic.
It's an unforgiving rule. He'd taken 2 steps.
Yeah.
And Favola can line them up and add to his 4 goals for. Another performance worthy of merit from Favola. Not a great first half, but he's got better as the night's worn on. And that is his 4th goal since half-time. And he's 5th for the night. And the margin at 37 points is exactly where it was at quarter time.
Yeah, they've been able to neutralise the game, there's no doubt about that. Throughout the whole game, or since quarter time, they've just been able to do enough.
Brisbane by 37. Let's have a look at their next 4 weeks. Gabba against St Kilda, Roos and Dockers, and then the Bulldogs at the MCG.
They've set up their season well, haven't they?
Yep, sure have.
So Favola 5 for Carlton. Brown 6 for Brisbane. Cruiser to Bauer to Scotland. Sidesteps. Kicks to Gibbs. Too much on the kick. Just overcooked it slightly. Gibbs had done all the hard work to create space, but just couldn't be hit on the chest by a teammate. Still inside Carlton's attacking 50. Sherman got caught high.
Wasted opportunity, wasn't it?
Hadley hasn't had much of a night, it's got to be said. Former line. Now in a Carlton jumper.
So a throw in on the wing. 8 minutes left. The margin 37. There'll be an interesting 8 minutes, bearing in mind that all the damage was done in the first quarter. Or if Carlton can edge a bit closer, or whether Brisbane can really put the stamp on a win that has been theirs since early in the evening. And Bradshaw now can have a shot and try and kick his first goal of the night. He's had a horror tonight. When opportunities have come his way, he's found a way of not cashing in on them. And he's done it again. What is it, Fossey? He's had an off night.
Well, it's even his kicking's been off. It's very unusual, but as we mentioned in the NAB Analyzer at half-time, I still think they have functioned very well together, despite Bradshaw not kicking the goals, but certainly Brown has been effective.
He started tonight 3rd on the goal-kicking table, Bradshaw. Just the one behind this evening as Brown puts Carlton inside 50. And that's a good mark taken by Hadley.
2 meters.
Got a loose man on, deep in the corridor. And the mark's taken by Fisher. Well done by Hadley.
Yeah, well done. They've kept trying Carlton, which is important. Heath Scotland has just had an incredible game in many ways. He's had 36 disposals, the Carlton halfback flanker. 23 of them have come from handball receives.
And Fisher has missed a put.
And there's Scotland in picture. He does try hard. He's a smart player, reads it particularly well. 36 disposals.
It's almost the stuff of Sony Bravias, but he's on a team that's being heavily beaten. Lions control the footy, but Powers kick Turns it up. Carlton's ball.
Just about his first mistake.
Stephen Brown, good contributor in Carlton's win in the West a couple of weekends ago. Tougher night tonight. Oh, hard one to mark there, but Fisher, with those long arms and acute judgment that he has in aerial contests, somehow managed to bring it down and gives himself a second chance after that very poor kick a moment ago.
Well, we mentioned about the first quarter and how Brisbane were able to jump them. If Carlton can finish on the positive note and wrestle control of the game and just be able to reduce this margin, they've got something to hang their hat on.
2 behinds for the night, Brad Fisher.
Not like that, though.
Make that 3. 2 misses from kickable shots in 90 seconds. Margin 36.
Short option by Brisbane. There's Travis Johnson, who's been a bit of an everywhere man tonight. He's got 3 goals next to his name. As McDonald goes for a bit of a run. And he goes back inside defensive 50 to Charman. There's the Lions switch. Patful. He's got Selwood in support, but he decides to go up the middle himself, so it shows a lot of acceleration and drives it long. Bradshaw, an opportunity again, maybe this time for Daniel Bradshaw.
Jared Waite in the one-on-one contest, that's the area he's got to get better. He reads it, he's athletic, he can run and receive, but just in one-on-one contests as a key defender, that is where he's got to improve.
And he's got one at last. Good job from Joel Patful. Broke the game open with that long run.
Well,
and delivered to Bradshaw.
Not just that long run, but the cut back inside. It makes a huge difference between going outside, cutting back inside. Just straightens you up, and from a defensive point of view, just makes it very hard to cover.
Blues having suffered their 5th defeat tonight, we could safely say, and to come, Fremantle a winnable game in Melbourne, then Geelong, and then a tough one against Port Adelaide away, and then Collingwood second time around with this unusual draw we have this year. So some tough weeks ahead for Carlton. They're going to be 3 and 5. Here's Murphy from a long way. That is a good kick, lovely kick, and Murphy gets his second goal.
So Murphy's second, and in front of a crowd of almost 39,000 here. The Blues fighting it out in this last term, but it's still Brisbane by a healthy 6 goals. Here's Murphy again. Scotland. Ineffective disposal there as Judd slings power into the turf.
Had a great one-on-one battle then, Judd and Power. They did it at the stoppage and then followed each other through to that contest there. It was a good little one-on-one battle.
There's Power again. Riscatelli puts the head down. Carlton win the football. Simpson over to Murphy, to Betts. Back to Murphy. Can he kick another one? No, he goes the left foot chip kick. Unsuccessful one. Betts has another crack at it. Tries to get it for Vola. Hadley caught a bit high. Another chance for Eddie. Unselfishly tries to get it to Favola, who looks tired. Eddie's still going.
Eddie, the battery's still going on Eddie.
And Travis Johnson looks like he's hurt his shoulder or his arm. So inside, Carlton's attacking 50. Well, he's recovered quickly, Travis Johnson. Did that well. Or did he? Turned it over in the end. Hadley run down by Johnston, who made up for the mistake. Good defensive work from Travis Johnston, who's still feeling the effects of that injury. But Brisbane are able to clear.
The Fed's short on petrol tickets and the price has just gone up for the weekend.
Move it on, stay slow. Play on.
Lions by 36 points.
Look at Fev in the background. He hasn't moved.
Lee'll be happy with that man's efforts today.
There's McDonald. He missed his target there. Notting with Judd closing and getting him, prizing the ball off him. So a ball up. Favola 5 goals 4. Brown 6 goals 3. Not much between them in the end, and Browns have come in a winning team, dominant team through the first half. So credits with both. Carlton winning the ball away again, starting to win the clearances late in the contest. Favola with a couple to beat. Well done, McGrath. Not so well done, McGrath. Stevens, Wiggins can have a go, having kicked a couple tonight. Doesn't get one here. Just on Brisbane's draw, as we said, they're going to be 4 and 4. They'll be in the 8 on percentage at the end of the round, and they've played Geelong and Port Adelaide and Hawthorn and Collingwood. Got some tough ones out of the way, although the way they do the draw now, you can have them again over the next few weeks.
McGrath goes for another little trot. Kicks to the wing, but it's going to fall short. And Heath Scotland,
38 disposals.
Yeah. 8 marks. And his short kick finds Gibbs. When do you think Gibbs will be unleashed true and proper in the midfield, Rob?
I think they're using him well. Look, I think next year.
Yep.
I think this year he's getting a lot of roles as a half-back flank winger, run with roles where he just tries to control an opponent. I think he'll learn a lot off the likes of Judd, Stevens, Scotland.
Stevens pops it inside 50. Almost a mark to Sherman. Power. Hooper missed it. Now Carlton get it back through Bauer. Will he have a ping at goals? It's a good kick. Just missed to the right.
Have a look at Fev. Fev has just about ripped him in half. I think he said something selfish, something.
Carlton might get another chance here. Little Eddie Betts. It's another. It's raining behinds late in the piece. Blues have kicked 20 of them for the night.
Have a look at Fev here. Did you ever play with a forward you were scared of, Vossi?
Yep, Roger Merritt.
Yeah, I thought you might have said that. I was scared of him. I was in the coach's box coaching him.
He had the best death.
He had those dark eyes, didn't he?
Oh, gave Bucks a spray one day. Oh, I was scared for Bucks.
What was that about, for not putting it lace out?
No, Bucks answered back something that Roger told him, and Roger let him have it. So, not to do that again, son.
Roger was scary on the training track, not just in games.
Carlton had possession. Simpson on the wrong side, but he handballs to Hadley, back to Simpson. Oh, and the handball was overcooked, so he'll have a throw in the forward pocket. He started the night in indifferent fashion. He's not happy. He's been in a funny mood tonight, hasn't he? But he's done his job. Power. Got over to Clark.
Yeah, Clark's got better as the game's gone on. I've been impressed with his game.
And Travis Johnston's had a very good night. Goes to Brennan. What magic can he weave here? As he paddles against Bauer. Grabs the Sharon, goes for a run in the one hand. Kicks towards Bradshaw. It's just chopped off by Scotland. Wait. He's had a night he'll want to forget.
It was an unusual option from Travis Johnston coming forward. He had a one-on-one contest forward, and he flipped it out to the side. Would have been much better attacking and hitting it up to Bradshaw.
Scotland and Johnston, both 11 disposals in this last quarter for their respective teams. And that's it. Brisbane have won by 33 and they're now 4-4 for the season. Carlton, 3 wins, 5 losses. So it's Brisbane in the 8. A nice gesture there from Brendan Favola, who went to the ball bag and got out a Sharon and gave it to Nick Stevens in his 200th game. Let's go down to Christy Mulhouse.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, Jonathan, last week you captained Victoria to a win. Tonight your team looked like they could be called the dream team. It was just a well-executed win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a bit scrappy towards the end, but we were very good in the early stages, which was fantastic. And the pressure's been good all year. We probably finished a little bit better earlier on tonight anyway when the game counted. So it was good to start off with a win there. Next sort of month, a lot of sides around 3 and 4, the same as us. So they're sort of 8-point games for us.
What is it with you and Carlton? I mean, this is the 8th time in a row that you've beaten them.
Yeah, we're going all right. I remember when I was a young bloke, I copped a few whacks by Carlton. They used to clean us up, but they're a good young side on the way up, obviously, and they'll go a long way once these boys get a few games under their belt. And
just quickly, how are you feeling your second game back from injury?
It was a bit of a battle tonight. I was a bit sore after last week, but I'm pretty happy and starting to move all right.
Well done tonight.
See you.
Jonathan Brown, another outstanding night, 6 goals, 3. Brett Ratton, plenty to think about. Just it was a bit of like men against boys, wasn't it, earlier tonight when the game had to be won?
Yeah, the first quarter they've just got blown out of the water, the Blues, and that was pretty much the story of the night. And again, they've had 35 scoring shots against them. They get heavily scored against. It's an area they've got to get a lot better at.